This next product, I may just throw in the garbage. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Halloween. I don't know, but it was too much. I didn't like it. We're back again. 8 full-size makeup items in a mystery subscription box. Is this something that we are interested in? Is this a flop? Is this a fave? We're gonna get into this today. I'm gonna do a full video with you guys on trying on every single bit of this makeup. And I already have some thoughts. I have reused things because today I'm technically on a day 2 trial, and some things I did not want to put back on my face, and some things I did, and I have a little bit of regrets about it too. Grab your tea, grab your snack, grab your water, get comfy, and let's dive into this video together. Cheers! This, I believe, is my 3rd video of receiving this in PR from Klever Beauty. And my goal with this video is to let you know, is this going to be worth your dollars? Because this is 8 full-size makeup items. That's something we've been saying that we've really wanted from Boxycharm and Ipsy for a really, really long time. However, these are makeup products that you don't see on, like, Sephora, Ulta, but I have done some investigating for you, and I have talked to my contact at Klever Beauty to ask them about their future with the brand. Are they looking to get more name brand makeup pieces in the box? I'm going to go through that with you along with all of the products that I did try on my face for you. All of these products are cruelty-free. However, some of these products, well, at least some of the brands in the box have been found at websites like Temu and things like that. So sometimes people are like, I don't want that. Some people are like, oh, affordable quality makeup, I'm here for it. It really depends on what you prefer. And I'm just here to tell you about this box, what's in it, and how did the makeup perform or not perform, as in yesterday's case. 8 full-size beauty items for $29 a month is really, really appealing, obviously, because that seems like a really affordable price. Now let's get into me trying all of this on my face yesterday, and I tried on every single bit of it. I have no choice in what comes to me. There's not like selections that I am aware of. So let's dive into the first thing that I used was this sponge yesterday. So this sponge was my first introduction to the month's box, and honestly, I was already disappointed for a few reasons. When I was trying on these products yesterday, I thought, how cute are these little feetsies? It looked like a little monster, but then once you take the packaging off, you realize he doesn't have little eyes. It's just a little like feet and base, which is fine. The real question here is the sponge, right? Like, how good is this sponge? And I at first thought, oh, a sponge is a sponge. This is gonna be fine. And then I was very quickly reminded that not all sponges are built the same. First of all, this was very, very tough. Very rubbery feeling, and honestly smelled rubbery as well, like a rubber ball. And then when I got it wet, I thought for sure it'll get softer. It still stayed very dense and very rubber ball-like. And it's not like a rubber ball, it's not rubber, but it's the closest thing I could think of when I was touching it and smelling it fresh yesterday. And obviously, as you can see, the product definitely goes back into your face because it can't stay in the sponge, which could be a plus for you. If you like a very, very dense sponge because you just want the makeup to go on your face, this could be great for you. For me, I was like, there can't be too much going into this thing because it feels like a rubber ball, so it better all be going on my face. This is not as an enjoyable experience as I thought it could be, but it wasn't bad. I mean, it's fine. This was okay. This was not like, oh, this is a good sponge. This was just like, oh, it feels like a rubber ball. Oh, it smells like a rubber ball. Oh, it's still really dense, but I can work with it. So that was my first introduction to the first item in the box. I was like, nah, okay. My concealer looked fine. My foundation looked fine. It was all fine, but it's also attributed to the great products I use. Yesterday when I was putting on my makeup and today when I was putting on my makeup, my 2 holy grail products right now are the Micelio foundation. I'm really loving this foundation, guys. This is also a indie brand. It did not come in the Klever Beauty box. It's just something I'm telling you about because I really love this. So I know what this product is like and I know how it sits on my skin. It still sat on my skin beautifully, but I think that's more attributed to this product and my Natasha Denona Hyglam concealer. So good. Did a great job, but that's, I mean, 2 really good products. I'll link them below for you. I also used the sponge in one of the next products I reviewed, and I thought maybe it was the sponge. So I used a different sponge today with this La Sheva, if I'm saying this name right, blush, which, I mean, who does she look like? All right, yesterday was Halloween. Maybe she was showing up, you know, dressed as her favorite blush because that's what she wants to be when she grows up. I don't know, but we know who she looks like. She looks like the Rare Beauty blush. And I have to tell you, I think I have tried that Rare Beauty blush before because it's super pigmented, and this was super pigmented. Now, I was sitting here going, well, you know, the sponge I used it with was super firm. So, of course, it's going to push everything back into my skin, not lighten up the blush in the least. I felt like I had like a sunburn based off of just the amount I used. So today what I did was I used literally 1 drop with a sponge that I really love and trust and like. That's way softer, so much softer, like way more bouncy. I still could not control this. This was just sunburn crazy. The color 02 here was just a lot. It was just a lot. And I'm not that big into blush. Like, I want it to be like a whisper of color. I don't want it to be sunburn. I don't want it to be, wow, is she sick? Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Halloween. I don't know, but it was too much. I didn't like it. I was kind of hoping it was just the sponge being difficult, but it is a very bold color. And I mean, as far as trends go, not that I base what I do a lot on makeup trends. I mean, clearly it can influence us. I didn't like the Rare Beauty blush because it was too much for me, and I don't like a very bold blush. I don't like this for the same reason. It went on really smooth, so I can say that about this blush, but I was really hoping that the sponge was the reason it was just so sunburny and so all over my face. But even when I used my favorite sponge today, it just did the same thing. It's just way too much for me. I even tried just doing 1 dab, literally 1 dab on my face this morning, and I started spreading it, and it was so intense. I had to go back with my Micellar foundation that luckily can layer really well, looks really beautiful on the skin, doesn't get cakey, to fix how overwhelmingly blushy this was. And I took that 1 dip and used it on both sides. This side was okay because it was like hardly any product. It's just an insane amount. The doe foot's actually very comfortable. Blush has been popular. It is starting to like wane in popularity, which I'm excited for because I've never liked that 1980s overwhelming rouge blush look, but this is exactly what I'm talking about here. I just did 1 dab and for you a second ago, kept yapping my face off, and look how much you get. Like, this could be a great value for you though. If you're a blush girl that loves this kind of thing, get it, sister. I like the color to a degree if it was less. Like, I literally like this side of my face today better because it's less. The next thing I put on my face was the highlighter, and I already was like, a liquid highlighter. This is from Ministar. I have seen this brand in the box before, and I had been okay with some of their products, even like some of them. I have to say though, this looks better on the body. I'll show you. Like, it does. I had it on my face. Luckily yesterday, like I said, yesterday when I was playing with this stuff, luckily it was also Halloween, so I got to, you know, kind of be a little bold. So I wasn't too concerned about what the end result was going to be. I didn't have any Zoom calls or anything. But for a first trial run, I was already like, ooh, I don't know. It does seem to be pretty smooth there. I just, I'm not a big fan of liquid highlighters on the face right now. I've really never been a fan. Even if you go back through my videos back to like 2016 when I started, liquid highlighters are not my personal jam. I like a compact if I'm going to be doing any kind of highlighting. A lot of my products now are very glowy, so I don't really need that step anymore. But I thought it looked good on the body, and maybe it would look good on the eyes. That could be an option. Do I want to try that? Maybe I'll try that. I have a very neutral look on today. Maybe we'll get a little bold here. I do tend to be very minimal with the highlighter these days, compared to, especially since my 2016 days, you know? I'm always open to finding new ways to try products. This is with it, this is without it. Oh my God, do I even see a difference? Not really. I mean, I need to do it to this side because this side's obviously going to be shinier because I'm just wearing matte shadows today. I mean, maybe when I play this back and I'm editing, maybe with the natural light, you guys see any glistening, like, delicious highlight dancing on my lids right now, because in person, I don't see it. So for me, this is also like, no, not loving this. This next product, I may just throw in the garbage. I may just throw this in the garbage. It's a little dramatic, and I get that. So this is a D-Roll Brow Wax Pencil. The packaging that this came in had some like brown, what you're accustomed to seeing for brows, like wavy lines on it. And I really thought, okay, this is a brow product. This will be great for this next step of my makeup. And then I opened it up and realized there's no pigment to the wax. Oh, maybe there's something in the brush. No, there's nothing in the brush. So this is just a wax and brush component. That took me a minute to figure out based off the packaging having that like swatch of brow pencil or brow pigment of some sort. I was extremely confused, to be real with you, on why it took me so long to even apply this, because I was super confused by the packaging. So then I got into it, tried to find directions, found there's some decent directions here on the base product, and that's when I realized what it's wanting you to do is it says that the paste is colorless and long lasting. So I was like, okay, so this is more like that wax brow look that I never even tried. So the reality was I was realizing it's a brush and a wax to just accentuate what you have, not add to. So I was like, okay, when in Rome, we're trying it. Worst case scenario, it's Halloween. This is the day. If you're gonna try stuff and maybe look a wreck, this is the day for it. So I tried this. I didn't hate it. I don't know where to go with this, honestly, because I didn't hate it, but it didn't give me any, obviously, enrichment to the brows. So I was like, okay, I'm just trying it as it comes right now. I could have put on a pencil first, I suppose, which after I had realized it all, but I'm also just like, I want to try things as they come. I want to let you know, how does it work? So I put it on, and it wasn't even the lack of color that was bothering me. It was the lack of just like my personal need for a product like this. But then when I started investigating the product after I was using it, I realized it had taken out brow hairs in both pieces. Not only on the wax section, and there's brow hairs in the brush. Like it just pulls them, I guess, out, or maybe, I don't know. But there's brow hairs in both of them. I kept pulling it out too, so there was actually more yesterday. I lived through the 90s, you know, like we all did that Pam Anderson brow look, and we've been trying ever since to grow them back. So the last thing I need is wax and then a little brush pulling out my brow hairs. It didn't hurt. It didn't do anything great for my brows. I ended up adding makeup to them later just for myself for Halloween, and it went over everything fine. So it wasn't really doing anything for me. To me, this was a waste of product. Maybe somebody with more bushy brows who didn't live through the 90s and pluck them to death, maybe they would love something like this to really like laminate their brows in some form of way. This is not a product I personally need, and I don't need something ripping out my brows. So I'm not in love with this. I keep it real with you guys. Even if I get things sent in PR, I'm always very, very real with you. Some of their products I have used and liked. I want to mention that. I have loved some of their stuff that I have been using. Like even from Ministar, this was a face powder collection in one here, and I have continued to use this and love this from a previous box. This box was just definitely not, you know, vibing with me. So one of the next things that I did was the shadows. So there is a nice little palette in here, and as you're seeing, everything is makeup. So this is the new Tutti Frutti eyeshadow palette in 01. Silky texture, easy blending, lasting effect is what it says. This was very reminiscent for me in the packaging of like, oh, this kind of reminds me of CoverGirl in a way. You know what I mean? Like the drugstore palettes. I went in first with this very creamy base, and it is super powdery. Like it is a messy girl. The pale color, the very nude color seemed to be pretty pigmented, and I liked that. I like being able to start a base look like that. I definitely say you have to build these up, because while they can have some pigment, they do better and last better if you build them up. For sure. I went into more of like a pumpkin-y coral tone that was in there for my crease in the video, and I will say that I thought it went on well and it seemed pretty pigmented, but then it started to just kind of disappear as I was blending it into the crease. So I felt like I needed to add more. And then I would say later when I added in the green tone, because I was like, okay, it's Halloween. I kind of wanted to add in, I think I added in a shimmer first, and then I put a green on top. So it was more of a neutral purpley base with shimmers, and then the green. And it looked pretty good. I think the green, adding the green was more helpful to the look. It kind of gave it some more pizzazz. But I did notice, like, as I shut down my B-roll footage of trying on makeup and then was getting ready for Halloween, I was dipping into other palettes and I was trying other things. I thought about putting this on today, honestly. I'm putting together some swatches for you as I'm chatting, And I thought about putting this on today, and I went to this gold shade, and I thought, oh, I'll put this on today. It's November. That's my birth month, so this is my birthstone of like that color. And I'm like, It wasn't looking very nice, to be flat out honest. And then I swatched it, and kind of similar to right now, you barely see her. And maybe yesterday the green worked better because I had already laid down a base of a nice light shimmer. I don't know. I just wasn't loving. I also had on the pale color first, then a shimmer, then that. So it was like 3 efforts. I was just not impressed. I mean, quite honestly, even going back into the green today with nothing on the base, it's okay. But I have some of these colors way more pigmented, way more pow, way more punch. These are very powdery, super duper powdery, I would say. Like these are the first 5. And then there is more of a burgundy shade right here. Let's a good swatch for that for you. This one's pretty nice. This one's pretty. And there's this a lighter pink pixie dust shade. It's pretty too. They're fine. They're pretty. They're very comparable, I would say, to what my initial thought was more like CoverGirl. I think Flower does this kind of packaging as well, but I've not gotten to try their shadows to compare. But CoverGirl, I could say it's kind of similar to CoverGirl, which isn't known to have the best shadows, personally, compared to, you know, what we've come to expect from makeup, I would say. Makeup quality just keeps getting better and better, and these, they're okay. It's okay. Again, it's only $29 a month for 8 products in the box. So I'm trying to keep that in mind for you as well as far as perspective goes. So this is still a lot of product. I still have like 3 more things in this box to tell you about, and it's all makeup. So, you know, it just kind of depends on what you're used to, what you like. Are you are you newer to makeup, or are you like somebody who has a huge makeup collection and you know your stuff? Like, it just kind of depends on what you need. Next, they have the iMagic Professional Cosmetics Liner, and they have this little brush here that unfolds, so you have a very fine tip or you have a more lining eyepiece here. So that way you could go on the eye. I tried this yesterday, and I used it for a look that kind of came out a little more on the gray toned side because I feel like it's not as pigmented as I thought it would be. I kept trying to layer it up with the brush or not. It was gliding fine, but it wasn't very pigmented. I don't know if it was the brush that was doing it that they sent with it, or if it was a combination of that and the actual liner itself. It was only okay. Towards the end of the video, I started just making more Halloween-y looks with this, just because I was like, well, when in Rome, I mean, I already got the green shadow on. Let's make this a little bit more pizzazzy. Give it some spider webs, give it some spiders. And I found I needed to end up pulling out a different liner to really achieve all of the stuff I was doing yesterday for Halloween. And this was only like, okay. I mean, it's fine. Again, it kind of met the rest of the box where it was at. It was okay. It was fine. Nothing great, nothing terrible. Then I went into the Seduce, oh gosh, I don't even know how to say this, XPD Wellagel QIC mascara. That's a lot to say about a mascara. It's a cute component. I would say the wand is nice. It's one of those thinner fiber ones, but as you may see right here, it immediately goops. It immediately has like a line of product come out, and I showed you that then as well. Like, it's like right there. Can you see it? It's like a string. So, and that's, I don't like messy mascaras. It went on fine. It looked fine. It was good. Right now, I'm really loving my Milani mascara, anti-gravity mascara from the drugstore. That's what I'm wearing today. That's what I've been loving. So good. This is fine. I'm like, mascara is kind of like a little bit like skincare, where you got to let it open up, oxidize, live its life before you could tell like how good or bad it's going to be. First impression is it was fine. A little messy. Well, more like medium messy, not a little messy. I'd say more like medium messy though. And then one of the last products was the, ooh, I actually already got it stained, the Poudir Matte Lipstick. So Poudir is a brand that I have seen in this box every time I've gotten the box. This may have been the brand that was also found at Temu, so I'm a little more cautious maybe, or on top of mind when I'm using it. I put it on my lips and I immediately saw a ton of pigment, like just kind of like the blush, a ton of pigment, not like the eyeshadows, not a lot of pigment. It does have like a light scent to it. I can't tell what the scent is though. It's not like an overt like vanilla or cupcake or something like that. There's just a light scent to it. and then it goes on pretty solid, as you can see. She's super duper pigmented. And I will say I did layer it just a little bit. Not that I felt like I needed to a bunch, but just kind of like, you know, get the edges of the lips and things like that. And at first I was like, okay, this isn't too bad. But once this thickness, how opaque it is, once it all dries, not just that top layer. Because at first you're like, oh, it's not bad, but that top layer starts to dry. It's when that base starts to dry, and I did not have on like a lip product before it, just liner. I was like, oh, this is dry. This is hella dry. This is 2016 dry lips dry. You know, when we were first learning about the matte liquid lipsticks, I was like, oh, it's like that. So before I did much, I tried to show you guys up close how it was feeling really tight and very uncomfortable. Then I pulled out one of my favorite Tarte glosses to put on top of it, and then I was okay again. It was matte. It was old school matte liquid lipstick. So this is unfortunately not the best maybe review for this month's box, but it could have also been me. Like I said, I don't have the type of brows that this waxy product maybe worked the best for, because I'm, you know, wanting a little bit more fluff to my brows, and I don't want anything to pull my brows out. The blush is, I mean, look, she be blushing. This is, she did what she said she was going to do. She had one job and she did it. She just did it too well for me. I don't need that much blush. You know, for me, that was a lot. Highlighter looks good on the body, like on these collarbones. Please, she looks amazing. On the face, it was like, I didn't even honestly notice it much. Honestly, I didn't. Not a huge fan of this like rubber ball sponge. It still feels just too rubber ball-y, and it smells just like a rubber ball. I don't like that. The eyeshadow palette, very middle of the road. We've come to expect a lot of good things from even indie brands, even smaller brands, because the quality of makeup just keeps going up. So, I mean, the swatches on the hands don't look bad, but they require a lot of build-up and a lot of attention. The mascara, like I said, was pretty fine as well, just pretty messy. So tell me what you're thinking about a box that does really inexpensive, you know, $29 a month for 8 full-size items. 8, like that's a lot. We're only getting 5 from Boxycharm, and this is all makeup. There's no skincare thrown in. However, you know, some months are better than others. I don't know if there's any choice options. I didn't have any choice options, but it's 8 full-size makeup items. So it really depends, I personally think, on where are you at with makeup. Would this suffice somebody who's maybe doesn't have as much in their collection, or maybe newer to makeup? Yeah, I think this would be great for them. But also the fact that there's no name brand items in here. And that's where I'm going to let you know what I heard from my contact, because I asked them directly, will you be getting more known brands in the box? And it took them a little bit to get back to me on that, because they were asking their higher ups in the company. And this is what they told me. Absolutely, it is a future goal for Klever Beauty to incorporate more recognizable brands into their subscription box. We've already been in touch with several brands and actively exploring potential collaborations to enhance the variety and excitement of beauty products we offer to our subscribers in the upcoming months. So maybe this is a box to keep an eye out on. Again, if that's more like also if you are a makeup lover, if you're somebody who really like has a good collection and you just want to add to it, versus maybe somebody who's a little bit newer to makeup and just kind of wants to see what's out there, or, you know, experiment, play with makeup. And sometimes, like I said, you do find a holy grail that you really like, because there have been products I have found that I do like. Editing Nichole here, jumping in right after filming this video, realizing I wanted to do a little bit more investigating. I happened to check out Yara G's video recently that she did a breakdown on the prices for all of the products that she got from her Klever Beauty box like a month ago. I received those same products, so I'm going to link her video. Definitely check her out. I wanted to do a deep dive on how much these products cost. I found the Klever Beauty website claiming there are certain prices for certain things, but I'm now doing some investigating for you guys. So I've already wrapped this video up, but I'm gonna insert this before the end of the video so you guys can have a little bit more education on how much these products can actually be purchased for. In doing some Googling, I'm just going through Google, typing in the product names to see where they can pull up with different resellers, so that way I can compare prices. It looks like the palette itself was going for like 58,800 rubies. So when I translated that into US dollars, that's $3.69 for this palette where I found it online. The next thing I started looking up was this blush here that looks like a dupe for Rare Beauty. And I actually found this was sold on Amazon for $13.35, but then I also found it at Walmart. So Walmart is a distributor for this blush, and they are retailing between $3.49 to $4.16. When I looked up this brand on the Klever Beauty website, this mini star highlighter, I was able to find it on other websites that had it in their pricing, but I could not highlight to translate it to US, but I think this would be a few dollars. I also find this, it used to be sold on Temu, but it looks like it's currently sold out. Something comparable that's somewhat close to it in the similar packaging was $2.39. In looking up the Matte Poudre liquid lipstick, I did find them on Amazon, and you can purchase this for $5.98. Like Walmart also sells it for $7.89. So again, it's going to depend on the retailer that you find. I found the D-Roll Brow Wax Pencil on Amazon as well. Looks like that is retailing for $19.99, which honestly surprises me, but glad to see that we've got some value there. Looks like Walmart actually has it as well, according to online, and they sell it for $9.15. So I am glad to see that you can find some of these items, you know, not for just $2 or $3, because that's what Yara G's video was showing, and I was like, oh my goodness. Tell me what you're thinking in the comments below. I hope you guys take a quick moment to check out my last few videos that I will have linked over here for you. My Halloween special was so much fun to do with you guys this year, and I have a new review on a super pricey $3,800 Louis Vuitton bag that you can actually get for a steal of under $400, and I give you a discount. Check out these videos, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, friends.